Welcome to Soto Creations, where we make your imagination a reality. We are starting out by prepping all the balloons we're going to use for this balloon wall. Now, I'm sure you saw my other balloon wall that I did for a graduation party. Well, someone saw that balloon and asked me to recreate it for a bridal show, and I was so happy to do so. The difference with this one is that I'm using a brighter pink instead of that light pink I used in the previous video. I'll link that video down below. Another thing is I decided to inflate a combination of the 11-inch and 16 and 18 inches initially. If you watch the previous video, you'll see I inflated only the 11 inches as a base and then added on the bigger balloons, and then of course the fillers with the 5 inches. But we're starting out here by inflating Qualitex in rose and white, and it is 16 inches, 11 inches, and you see me prep all the 5 inches in both colors. And this reflex silver is in 18 inches, 11 inches, and I'll prep the 5 inches later on. Now, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment down below. Like I said, my technique here is slightly different than I did in the previous video, but I was able to account for about 311 balloons. I know, but I'll let you continue watching and I'll go more detail as I put everything together. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. I'll be posting my video on how I make a balloon wall with the flag, so it looked like the flag. I'm a little nervous about that, but stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that video and see if it's a success. I haven't done it yet, so I'm looking forward to that for the 4th of July parade that we have downtown our city. So don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for everyone who subscribed, and let's keep on prepping. Say hi. Bridal shower day. Hi. 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 Have everything. We were able to strap that backdrop in, so we'll just carry it. And we also strapped our drapes in, so we'll just pick it up. Yes, Oliver. Cheese. Okay, I'll take a picture, okay? 1 second. This is the entrance to the bridal show, and we're going to set up the balloon wall right here. I'll just show you around a little bit. It's a huge I still need to find my booth. We just got here and we're trying to set up or unload the truck. That's Richard all the way in that corner right there, going to get more balloons. And I'll find my booth here once I'm done and I'll show you guys. But I want to set this up so I can record how I put this real quick because we're running a little late. I'm starting off by taking the wrapper off the column we put together at home. I don't know if you remember this one. The rest I did not put together. I just put in bags so I can take out at the venue. But that first one is my base, and I plan to just attach the other columns to it. I have 6 columns total, and I did a combination of 2 and 3 colors mixed with my 3 colors. So one column has 3, one column, and some of the columns have 2 colors on the column. I just did a mixture. What I'm doing here is just laying everything out to see how I'm going to put it on the wall, because one thing you don't want to do is end up with a wall that has all straight at the top, all white, or cluster of all one color in the same area. So I'm just rearranging all my columns on the floor so that when it's time to put it up, I can. Now with this first column, I'm attaching my fishing line. That's gonna allow me to zip all the columns together. I say zip like I did in the other balloon wall video because that's what it seems like to me. So this is my layout, and you can see none of the colors are really all clustered together, and that's the look I like. Remember, with that first column, I ended up attaching one more quad of white at the top after I'd attached it to the pole. That's what I'm doing here, is making sure for each of those 5 columns left on the floor, I'm attaching another quad so it's just the same height. Once I attach that quad to the silver, then I use my fishing line to just go back and forth between the column that's on the pole and the new column that I'm adding on. I'm just going back and forth from the top, wrapping it around the balloons back and forth until it's fully attached as tight as I can. So you want to tug on that fishing line just so it zips up pretty well. Here I am now getting quads of all the other colors, just observing to see which colors I need and putting it where I need to put it, whether it's on the top or on the bottom. And I decide to just attach them first. That way I can just pick up each column and use the fishing line to attach once they're done. So I'm just doing my fillers here and attaching the quads onto the columns. So as you can see, I'll have a total of 8 quads on one column instead of the 7 we initially made. But so 4 quads times the 8 quads, that's one column, and then times 6, that gives you about 192, I believe. And we'll add one more later on in the video. Just keep on watching. But I'm using the fishing line now from the bottom because that's where I ended, and just working my way up. And you'll see once I get to the top here, then I'll work my way back down with the very next column and then go back up. So back and forth. That way I'm not cutting the fishing line and having to reattach them anymore. So That's what we're working on right now. You'll see me readjust some of the balloons as I go. Now the fishing line is on top, so I'm just going to use it to work my way down and make sure everything is nice and tight. It's a little tricky not having an extra set of hands to really hold those balloons in place in order for them not to fall around, but you just kind of make it work. Like you see here, I decide to move the balloon wall closer to that wall back there because it makes it sturdier. If I'm pushing back on it, then it's not going to fall over, because right now the only thing that's holding this balloon wall in place and intact is that pole that we use. And the pole I'm using here is a metal pole that I made years ago. This was, I want to say, 8 years ago when my first daughter turned 1. We made that for her. Now I did not finish attaching that last pole because initially I was gonna attach it and I realized that I forgot my other pole at home. But then my husband reminded me that we brought the PVC pole we made in that PVC pole that we made right there in the graduation video from Minnesota. So I stopped. So I'm untying that column and I'm going to use this PVC pole, pole that we made. It's about 6 inches, which works fine. I'm wrapping that last column on that, and I'm just going to use the same method to attach it onto the rest of the balloon wall. This allows the balloon wall to be more stable and not move around, especially since I'm not really leaving it against that wall. I need it to come forward a little bit. So later on you also see me cover up that wooden piece on the bottom with some balloons, so that adds on to the number of balloons. Like I said here, you'll see me do a count as the video goes on. So I'll let you continue watching as I put in the fillers in the 5 inches and also add some flowers. So keep watching.